Okay, so I'm going to record this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Just to start off, in the
Mm-hmm.
managerial case study or the gateway,
Mm-hmm.
always you in the company is the
Mm-hmm.
somewhat like a management accountant.
Right.
In the operational case study, you are basically a number crunching financial accountant. In the
Mm-hmm.
strategic case study, you are at a very high level, at a
Mm-hmm.
strategic level like a board member. But
Mm-hmm.
in the managerial case study, you are a
Mm-hmm.
manager, a middle level person, not at the
Right.
very top,
Okay.
not at the very low. So you must always remember that role, whatever
Mm-hmm.
you are going to do it. You must take that role. And because of that role, they don't expect you to make very big decisions for the company, but they
Mm-hmm.
expect you to provide information for the directors to make good
Okay.
decisions for the company.
Right. Okay.
You are not a big decision maker, but you are down the ladder going up.
Mm-hmm.
You will be supporting them with all your knowledge to make decisions. So for that purpose, you must have a fair knowledge of your technical aspects. Technical
Okay.
aspects
Yeah.
means the theoretical knowledge. So just
Mm-hmm.
like the marks what I have sent it to you, it's about the weighted average cost of capital. So
Okay.
your directors might ask, hey Veena, can we use the present our working weighted average cost of capital for this project, or should we look at something else? Right?
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
uh, as I said last time, in the case study, very little calculations or hardly any calculations. Right?
Right.
You don't need
Okay.
to do. That is, in a way, it's good news. Some people, it's bad news. But no calculations. Early in the top SIMA, we had lot of calculations to do. Uh,
Okay.
I was happy because I'm generally good on calculations, but many don't like these calculations. So
Mm-hmm.
calculations is not part of the exam. They will give us the calculations, but we
Okay.
have
So they
to,
will all give. Yeah.
yeah, but we have to look at those calculations and see whether we can comment on those figures.
Okay.
Understand? They might give a statement. We don't
Mm-hmm.
need to see whether the A and B is getting added up to C, A times B is D or whatever it is. We don't need to worry, right? That part
Okay.
is gone. But we must see whether the figures what they have presented are acceptable, whether it is in accordance with the relevant accounting standards, etc., etc.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to look at a few things today. I want to start off with the November pre-scene. November
Mm-hmm.
pre-scene was all about a company called Portafone. Somewhat,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a good industry, something which we know about the telephone. Every one of us are using a phone. We know the kind of the product we know. But I
Okay.
hope you will get something like that in our February exam, because
Mm-hmm.
last paper, the August exam was something about manufacture of servers, computer servers.
Okay.
And that was not something which we were very familiar with. So that was fairly technical, that kind of a thing. But we are not expected to know a lot of technical details about the industry, but should have a
Mm-hmm.
basic knowledge about the industry.
Right. Okay.
Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the pre-scene on what we did. Give me a second.
Yeah, that's fine.
So let's start off looking at the pre-scene, because once the real pre-scene is out, this is what you should be doing. You should be looking
Right.
at the pre-scene. The idea, as I told you last time, you must assume responsibility for working in this company.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
at the moment, are you working anywhere, Veena?
Yes, I'm working with Santander.
Okay, right. So you have to, now you know about your organization well, isn't it? I mean, to a great extent, you know who are the directors,
Right.
right? Who are the
Mm-hmm.
managers, to whom do
Mm-hmm.
you report, what is the organization structure, and probably if you are in the financials or management, you will know about their financial accounting, all that kind of a thing. Right?
Right.
So generally, if you take your particular the present working place, you know generally about their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, all that kind of a thing. You know what kind of a market they are in. You know what kind of problems they do have. You know all those things. And
Right.
the idea of the pre-scene is for you to get to know that knowledge about the organization. And on the
Okay.
exam day, what happens is just like when you go to office on a particular day in the morning, your immediate
Mm-hmm.
boss or the CEO, some person might call and say, Veena, we do have a problem, right? One of our main suppliers who was supplying the particular raw material has gone
Mm-hmm.
bankrupt, or the
Right.
quality of the product is defective, and that we have to accept the product, and we have produced the product, and the product has gone into the market and there are complaints. What shall we do?
Right.
Right? So uh, uh, purely I want to look at from that angle. I don't want to think this as an exam. I want you to be in a very relaxed environment for next
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 weeks till the new pre-scene is out. We are working for Portafone company, right? You
Right.
will come
Okay.
to know. And once the new pre-scene is out, you will work for that company, and you will come to know everything what's happening.
Okay.
So this is what
Okay.
I'm going to look at. I'm going to just take a few because so you have to get that the the initial thing into your head. So this is
Mm-hmm.
the case study what we had for last exam.
Mm-hmm.
I sent it to you. I think this pre-scene, right? So this is so I want you to see the first one. This is the most important one. I'm not going to go page by page, but I want to look at your job description.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So you are the finance manager with this company. So earlier in our Topsima case study, sometimes you were internal, sometimes you were external. But now in our case studies, we are always internal. We are part of the organization.
Okay.
Right? So you are the finance manager and you report to a person called Leo Chan. So you must know when a person, in the exam, when a person called Leo sends an email, you must know who he is.
Okay. Hmm.
Right? So he is the senior finance manager who in turn reports to the finance director. So in other words, the structure in the finance division, there's a finance director, there is Leo, and there is you as the finance manager.
Okay.
So your primary responsibilities are associated with management accounting. So that is the important one. So you are basically not on the financial accounting. You are on the management accounting. Now, what is the difference between management accounting and financial accounting, Veena?
Yeah, management accounting is more related to internal aspects of the organization,
Okay.
and financial accounting is related to external factors. Like
Yeah.
they are more like figure oriented.
Yeah, the management, the financial accounts are basically prepared for the
Hmm.
stakeholders. Stakeholders
Yeah,
include your internal employees and all that also, but most is the shareholders, and it has to
right.
comply with certain accounting standards. It has to comply with certain laws, regulations, and it
Mm-hmm.
has a kind of a clear structure. Wherever, whether you prepare or I prepare, we have to be governed regulated by various IFRSs and IASs.
Right, right.
Management and it's not so detailed, but management
Mm-hmm.
accounting is more on a routine basis. The
Mm-hmm.
information we give to our own, as you rightly said, the internal management for management decision making.
Right.
Financial statements, the external financial statements or financial statement per se is given for most for the external people to make decisions.
Right.
Now, for example, you may be a rich girl holding some shares in
Mm-hmm.
a particular company. Once you get
Mm-hmm.
the annual report and once you get their various things, you can decide whether you want to hold on to these shares or whether you want to sell these shares and get away quickly.
Right.
That's the purpose of the financial statements. The unions
Mm-hmm.
might use the financial statements to bargain for a bonus or whatever it may be.
Right.
Management accounts are all internally for the managers to make right decision. Should we increase the budget? Should we reduce the budget? Should we adopt a different tactic to get the sales? That kind of a
Right.
thing. Should we pay finance charges? Should we go for different type of a capital structuring? So all internally decisions. So who makes the internal decisions? Mostly board of directors.
Management. Yes.
Yeah. Mostly when you say management, it starts from the board of directors and then it goes down to the next level and the next level. Right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
basically that one. So you will be mostly responsible with the management accounting. So hopefully you are not that responsible for the financial statements. But
Mm-hmm.
it does
Okay.
not relieve you because you have to understand you are always a SIMA
Mm-hmm.
qualified or SIMA student. Because we are SIMA, we need to
Mm-hmm.
have the SIMA code of ethics. Now, can you remember the SIMA code of ethics?
No.
Yeah, because I think since you are not done for some time, you may not be. I will send you
No.
a little bit of a note on SIMA code of ethics. Uh,
Okay.
as students, as members of SIMA, we are governed by a code of ethics. The code
Mm-hmm.
of ethics, the number one is all about integrity. Integrity means we have to be truthful, we have to be straightforward.
Right.
We can't do any crooked things even if the directors tell us to do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? So sometimes we see in the SIMA magazine, some of the members, they have removed them from the membership because they have done certain crooked things, untruthful
Okay.
things. Right? So
Right.
if you happen to work in an organization and if you find that they are deliberately preparing false financial statements or misleading the public with financial statements, you must
Mm-hmm.
quickly address that matter to the management and say these things are wrong, these things are not right the way you are doing. And if they are not going to listen to you, if they are not going to accept your views, you even may have to resign from the company.
Okay.
So even in the present place, hopefully they are all right. But if you come across anything, then you as a SIMA member, SIMA student cannot work. SIMA is very, very focused on our ethical responsibility. What is ethical responsibility? It is much more than the legal responsibility. Legally,
Hmm.
we can always get covered up with the law, saying, you know, you can fight on the law, but on the morality, on the conscience, you have to accept if the things are not right, if the things are not straightforward.
Okay.
It's not only a question of preparing false financial statements, even suppressing some information could be considered as lack of integrity.
Right. Okay.
Second one is what we call objectivity. I will send you a note on this one. Objectivity. Objectivity means you are now working in this company, for example, your immediate boss is Leo Chan, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you can't take his side when it comes for the professional matter, when it comes for the work-related matter. Even if he's wrong, you have to say it is wrong.
Okay.
So you can't be having, sort of private contacts or something like that, and where you support a person knowing that it is wrong, you support a person. That is wrong.
Okay.
That is wrong. So you have to be very objective, unbiased, unprejudiced. That is why we are paid a fairly a good, decent remuneration in the market. The people expect we to be SIMA qualified people to be that kind of upright in the dealings. So when a
Okay.
company has a SIMA qualified accountant, the people can accept that that man will or that lady will do the job properly, that free of any bias, free of any prejudices, she will prepare the financial statement, she will give the
Right.
disclosures. That is what we call SIMA, the code of ethics on the objectivity. Then
Okay.
professional competency and due care.
Mm-hmm.
Professional competency. Now sometimes Leo Chan might come and say, uh, Veena, I want this work done by this evening. And it may be something totally impossible for you to do it. If
Right.
some person comes and says by 30th of November, I want the financial statements prepared for audit by 1st of December, surely you can't do it.
Right.
You can't do it. So now you are not going to bow down to that kind of a pressure. So you have to maintain that professional competency and due care. Due care means you are not going to rush through things just to satisfy some people.
Okay.
Right? Competency means you must have that competency to do. If I can't teach the SIMA students, because I did my exams in 1980s, if I can't teach the students, it's all right, but I should not teach. I should not
Okay.
pretend because I'm a SIMA member that I can teach the 2016 students if I don't have the latest knowledge. A lot of my colleagues,
Hmm.
who have done their exams with me in 1980, they can't do this because they have not got themselves updated with the present developments. Our time we did not have all these issues, so it was a totally different exam, right? Not so
Right.
complicated as this today. So because of that, we must have that professional competency. That is why SIMA, even after you become a member, you have to do what you call continuing professional development.
Okay.
Every year you have to maintain a record, you have to send it because they want you to get updated and updated and updated. Right?
Okay.
When I did my exams in 1980s, we did not have this computerization, all that. Our biggest question was to give a trial balance, which is unbalanced, and with a suspense
Mhm.
account, and we are to clear errors and all that kind of a thing, and to prepare the financial statement. Today that era is gone.
Right.
Today that era is gone because every time when you pass an entry, the computer will not accept unless the debit and the credit balances.
Right.
Our time all manual, so I can enter 10,000 debit and a credit 1,000, and then there's a trial balance difference. You have to go on hunting for that one. So
Right.
so today you can't do what we did in 1980. So it's a totally a new era. So we have to have that
Mhm.
professional competence. So the first one, integrity. Second one,
Six
objectivity.
objective.
Third one, professional competency. The
Competence.
fourth one,
And
professional behavior.
okay.
Both in and outside the office organization, we must behave in such a way that we will not bring any disrepute to the SIMA Institute or the SIMA profession.
Right.
That gives us the blessing in a way, that gives us in a way a constraint. We cannot get indulged in any tax evasion schemes.
Okay.
We cannot get indulged in any payment of bribery or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If say even if the company is going to make a big profit, and if you have to give for to earn that profit, if you have to pay some commission to the government minister or something, we can't go for that one. True
Right.
enough, our
Okay.
business objective is to maximize profit for the shareholders, but we have to do it in ethical way.
Okay.
And today ethics cover not only that kind of a thing, the environment responsibility. Today, the people are very, very conscious about the environment. So if you look at this, a company like this phone company, they are the discarded batteries where they go and dump it. Hmm? All
Mm-hmm.
that is a matter of environmental concerns. So if you don't address those things and if you try to pollute the environment, that is also unethical.
Right.
Legally there may not be any barriers, but you have to, in particular in the western countries, that noise pollution, all those kind of a thing, people have a right to complain. People have a
Right.
right to sleep peacefully in the night without any disturbance. So if
Right.
there is some smoke, something happening, all that kind of a thing, that's not environmentally responsible work. So as SIMA people, we must maintain that kind of a professional behavior. And
Behavior.
one thing
Yeah.
arising out of the professional behavior is, when you are working in a company, you might be subject to a lot of confrontations, arguments. Those arguments
Mm-hmm.
are only to the board level, only at the board meeting. After that, you cannot carry those arguments outside that particular meeting into your personal life and to take revenge from that person because he criticized you or she criticized you at the board meeting.
Right.
These can be the questions. Sometimes it may be a question that so and so criticized your financial statements, this, that, and the other, and now maybe not you but some other person is thinking that because that person was criticized, maybe Leo Chan was criticized by one of the other directors, and now Leo Chan is thinking of attacking that fellow, and he wants your support to attack that man with ulterior motives,
Mm-hmm.
which is prohibitive for you.
Right. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, which is prohibitive for you because you cannot take that kind of a stand. Finally, it's all about the confidentiality. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
the information that you come across in your office organization, you are supposed to keep it confidential.
Confidential.
You are not supposed to
Right.
discuss with your husband, not with anyone. You have to keep it confidential because that information is strictly confidential. So if you are working in a bank,
Mm-hmm.
you will know all the customers' bank accounts, all that, but you are not supposed to
Mm-hmm.
come and discuss that with anyone, even with your husband or children, about the balances in the bank account.
Right.
That is what is expected of us as SIMA accountants, SIMA members. So the SIMA examiner, SIMA institute is very, very concerned about these 5 principles, and we should maintain it. So always there's a ethical question somewhere down the line,
Mm-hmm.
which we have to maintain that one. So when we are doing questions, we'll come across and we will discuss.
Okay.
Right? So your primary responsible associate management accounting, this means that you have often to liaise with colleagues from the treasury and financial reporting functions and also from other functional areas including sales, human resources and operations. Now being the management accountant, you must, get support of everyone. It's
Right.
not only the bookkeeping section or whatever. You have to get, other than the monetary numbers, you have to get lot of quantity details, quality details. For example, your financial reports, financial statements will not indicate how many customers made complaints about the products.
Right.
But the management accountant's report will even talk about that kind of a thing.
Okay.
Right? So much of complaints coming about the particular model. So management
Mm-hmm.
accountant is going beyond the financial statements, where financial statements may not talk about any of those things.
Right.
Customer satisfaction, all that kind of a thing. Any new business, any new improvements what you have done, any new innovation, all that will come up in the management report. So management reports are unstructured reports, but we can vary according to the organization, and we will prepare many reports. And one
Okay.
of the most common finance management reports what we prepare is to compare on a monthly basis or maybe weekly basis or maybe quarterly basis the actuals with the budget. Hmm?
Okay.
Actuals with the budget and to give the variances and to analyze the variances and see why there is a variance. I mean the financial statements what you prepare for the shareholders, you don't do that kind of a thing. You don't give the budget,
Right.
right? You give the previous year figures and the current year figure, that's all.
Right.
Nothing beyond that one. So you can understand the differences between the management account and management accountant. Therefore, now for example, in the human resources, right? Now, what has the financial people got to do with the human resources? Financial people, only the human resources thing is to pay the salaries of the staff, the people, and to debit it into the salaries account. That's all. But management accountant will go to the human resources and try to find out how many training sessions were held
Right.
internally, in-house, outside,
Mm-hmm.
how many training sessions were held, uh, then how much did you spend, what was the budget. So you have to work with all the colleagues all over. So because of that, you must be a very good communicator.
Okay.
This is what we call people skills. People skills means you must be a very good communicator. So you should be
Oh.
able to understand things, and also when you are communicating, you must communicate it in such a way, in a most simplest form, what the others can understand. Sometimes they might ask you
Okay.
to draft a report, draft a table. So that must be done in the most uncomplicated manner. This is what is expected of you.
Okay.
So then Portafone, this your company encourages its managers to engage with the wider community, and part of that initiative you provide teaching support to the Faculty of Business at Capital City University. Now, most of the companies, they do something called corporate social responsibility. Right?
Right.
Today we believe any business, for it to survive, it survives because of only of the society. The day that the society decides we are not going to buy your phone, we are not going to buy your
Mm-hmm.
product, that company will collapse, right? So
Right.
the society is the driving force for any successful business. You would have seen in our country, in country like India, in most of the places today, there is a kind of our president was there in India, some kind of public agitation against smoking.
Okay. Yeah.
Against smoking. There's so much of thing. Our president, who came into power just about 2 years back, is a very, very strong advocate of anti-smoking. And now in our country, the cigarette packet, 90% of the packing, cigarette packet should say that smoking is dangerous, cancerous, all that kind of a thing. The
Right.
once you open the box, 90% of the whole box is printed with all that kind of a thing. So I think last week there was
Okay.
some meeting in India. The president went and addressed the gathering. So I do some consultancy for the prime minister here in Sri Lanka. So I met him yesterday. When I asked him, he said there's a big, even in the Western countries, there's a big kind of a push towards anti-smoking.
Right. Yeah.
And last week, our finance minister presented the budget for the 2017. He
Mm-hmm.
increased the VAT and all the things on smoking, but he did a big blunder. He said the cigarette manufacturing company in Sri Lanka, there's only one company, the cigarette
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing company in Sri Lanka should spend
Mm-hmm.
some big amount of dollars to promote anti-smoking campaign, and that was
Mm-hmm.
very heavily criticized by all the people for getting those money of smokers' money to be spent on a corporate social responsibility campaign.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just thought it was very contradictory. One way you want to discourage it, but other way you are asking them to sponsor that kind of a thing. I thought that was not right. So yesterday when I met the finance minister, I said, I don't think what you did was right. But people have been protesting on that kind of a thing. So what I'm trying to say is, every business survives only if the if the society accept the business. And therefore,
Right.
in return, the businesses also must give something to the society.
Yeah.
Earlier, the businesses were giving all the monies what they earn to the owners, to the shareholders. But today, we have something beyond that one. We have to look at a totally a different way. And this is why sometimes we have this what we call balance scorecard. What is balance
Okay.
scorecard? Balance scorecard is earlier we were thinking all the time at the board level, every time we think about the monetary figures. How much profit we earn, how much revenue did we get, what is the return on capital employed, this, that and the other, all ratios, everything done. Everything was, financial. But today we have gone beyond. In 1991, I think, yeah, 1991, two people introduced something called a balance scorecard. They said it's not only financial objectives that must be achieved, you must have a balanced view. So they put three more other areas. Number one,
Okay.
customer perspective, customer
Right.
satisfaction, right? So it's not only making money, you must see whether the customers are satisfied with your product and the services.
Right.
So you have to have certain measurement like number of customer complaints. That is why when you and I travel on an airplane, they give us a form to fill and to give the feedback so they know whether the customer was satisfied with the in-flight service or whatever, that kind of a thing. So the number one is about the customer perspective or customer satisfaction.
Satisfaction. Yeah.
Second one is all about internal business perspectives, internal business processes, right? Unlike in the earlier scenario, today we cannot just live on producing something and producing it forever. The public taste is changing. The what you and I enjoyed, our time enjoyed, is not what our children are enjoying. Hmm. Their their tastes are different. The food that what our parents gave is not what we have to give our children. Right? All fast food,
Right.
all sorts of things have come. So if the people have not moved from that era to this era, those businesses would have collapsed. Right? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know whether you can remember the film rolls. Right? Earlier, with the cameras, there was the film roll.
Right. Yeah.
Where is that one today? Right? I think your grandchildren one day will have to go to a museum to find a film roll.
Yeah.
That era is completely gone. I'm sure in another 2 generations time we may not have any textbooks.
Yeah.
All will be in the electronic ebook, PDF, all that kind of a thing. Hmm? So
Right. Yeah.
you can see, so unless the businesses, now look at the mobile phone. 20, 30 years back, there was nothing called a mobile phone, but we lived, happily. We were still living all those things. But today, you and I, we can't wait half an hour without the mobile phone.
Yes.
Everything is inside the mobile phone. Telephone numbers,
Right.
your bank accounts, everything is in the mobile phone. So 30 years back, if you just go back, 1986, there was nothing called a mobile phone. So,
Yeah.
so over a period of 30 years, see the changes that has come up. Look at the way that we are providing tuition.
Right. Yeah.
If you're far away in UK, I'm far away in Sri Lanka, but we can, as if we are, face to face, we can discuss, do a class. Those days we would have
Right.
had to
Yeah.
go for a class during particular hours or that kind of a thing. So if the people have not got changed, the new processes, new developments have not come into the businesses, that business would not have survived so long. So because of that, you have to continuously do innovations, particularly in a company like phone industry. The lifespan is very little. Your
Right.
grandfather's era, if you look at the phone, the black phone, they would have had it for years and years and generations. isn't it? Hmm?
Yeah.
Today the phone, 6 months, 1 year, it is outdated. And you go and buy a new phone.
Right.
Maximum 2 years, the
Right.
phone is outdated, you buy a new phone. So life cycle of the product has come down. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
continuously keep doing. Those days we produce goods what we call lifetime. But today we don't call it lifetime. Nothing is
Right.
produced for lifetime. Produced for a particular period. That's the way businesses survive. Dispose it, buy a new one. Dispose it, buy a new one. So we have come to a society
Right.
where everything is disposed, and that is causing lot of environmental issues, environmental problems. Plastic bottles, right? We never had
Right.
plastic bottles. So today it has become a big environmental issue. So what you can see is there is the community is expecting something from you in return for them tolerating your business. So one way this company is doing is they get their staff like you with the SIMA
Mm-hmm.
knowledge to go and give tuition or some kind of teaching support to the university,
Right.
maybe as part-time lecturers or something like that, maybe for a fee, maybe not for a fee, but you go and do something for the university, for the upliftment of the younger generation, right?
Right.
So now in this particular case, this case study was slightly different. Normally, all the case studies what we had the 7 exams up to this point, the company gave about the company a kind of a brief. But here, it's not the company that is giving. You are working for this company. You went and provided some teaching support for the students. And one of the students have prepared a report on our company and about the
Mm-hmm.
mobile industry, and that has been
Mm-hmm.
submitted by the postgraduate student at the university. Student was asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and the teaching
Mm-hmm.
staff believe that the report should be considered for the prize that it is awarded for the best project. I want you to understand the English here, right? Basically, what do they say? It is not you who has prepared the report. It is not your directors who have prepared about your company, but one of your students has
Mm-hmm.
prepared a report about your company. So you have to be
Right.
careful. It may not have everything in the inside about the company in this report, because this is limited to what the student had gathered as knowledge. So, for example,
Right.
I am telling is finally when you go to the end of the report, going straight to the end of the report,
Mm-hmm.
and say this child has written this report about your company. I would like to thank the following Portafone managers who have been very helpful to me working on the project: Leo Chan, Lucy Warren,
Mm-hmm.
Peter, Don, Julie, Neba. Right?
Okay.
So she's talking about the finance manager, head of research, CEO, finance, marketing, production. Now,
Right.
many of my students this time, they came to the conclusion this company has no chairman, right?
Okay.
This company has no HR director. This company
Okay.
has no IT director. But we can't come to
Right.
that conclusion. Why do I say
Right.
so? Because this is only
Mm-hmm.
a report given by the students,
Yeah.
right? Report given by a student. So it may not include everyone. She is thanking the people who supported her project.
Okay.
So we have to be very careful when we reach conclusions on this report, and to say that they have no corporate governance, they have no chairman, and they must appoint a chairman, then
Mm-hmm.
problem. You should not go into that kind of a thing.
Okay.
Understand, right? So that is something which I want you to pick it up. So when we go through this thing, we have to be careful. The conclusions we come. So this is the purpose why we take this in and do a very deep analysis. Otherwise, we can come to wrong conclusions and make
Mm-hmm.
wrong things. Because you have to remember, finally, you are writing something as a senior manager. If you don't know your company well, you will write something rubbish.
Okay.
Right. So now let's move into some of the other areas. I'm looking at this. So here, this is the students, and see, the staff believe that the report should be considered for the prize that is awarded for the best project. Now, what do you think?
Okay.
What do you think with that statement? What is the implication for you, that Veena?
Okay.
Picture,
Teaching staff believe that the report should be considered
yeah,
for the prize.
picture the story.
Okay.
Picture the story and think what is. Now you have you gave some, you went and did some because the company encouraged you. You went and did some work in the university. One of your students have written something about the company, and the university people, teaching staff believe this report is one of the super report, and that is good for even for the prize.
Right. Okay.
So what is it telling you? Can you just guess? Can you just think? Don't think too much about the exam, all that. Just think very simple.
Mm. Okay. So am I thinking as of as a financial manager?
Yeah, as the person who is working in the company, as the finance manager, what do you think that last sentence, the teaching staff below that the report should be considered for the prize? Some person does some work and they
Okay.
say it is good to win a prize. What does it mean?
It means that the report that the student has written has more detailed knowledge of the company.
Yeah, the report is very good, isn't it?
Yes.
Report is very good. Report is very factual. So that is why.
Yes.
So you can see, from this statement we gather this report is quite good.
Quite detailed. Yeah.
Quite detailed, quite good, because it is good to even for the price. So in other words,
Right.
we should not talk saying that we are not very sure whether the figures what she has expected is right and on. That kind of a thing we should not try to doubt or suspect or make some aspirations about the report, because the report should be good.
Okay. Yeah.
This is what it means.
Okay.
This is what it means. So you can see, you can collect lot of matter when you go to a kind of a report like this, and when you see this kind of a story, from the little things what you have, you can collect lot of things. This is what you should be looking all the time.
Okay. Right.
So this is why the pre-seed is very important. So now it's
Okay.
about the company. So Portafone report for review by finance manager. So now some other child has prepared the report. It has come to you for review. Review by
Okay.
finance manager. Right? So in other
Okay.
words, what the normally, as I said, normally the report is always given by the company to you, but this is not a report that is given by the company, but the report is given by a student, and it had come for your reviewer. So here, the
Okay.
company is based in Finland, which is developed and industrialized country. Finland requires the application of IFRS for financial reporting. Country's currency is the F dollar. So always it's a fictitious country, fictitious currency, right? But the
Yeah.
country is applying IFRS. That means it is compliant with international financial reporting standards,
Standards. Yeah.
right? That is what it means. So it's a company that is working very much on the financial standards, the kind of a thing. So you have to be aware that this company, even though it is not something, uh, it's a fictitious country, but it is so. And the company was called Bright Star Electronics when it was founded in 50s to manufacture consumer electronics such as radios. So it's a fairly old company, 66-year-old company, but the
Yeah.
product range has changed during the period, and now it is some consumer taste and trends. and by early 1990s, they started manufacturing phones.
Okay.
So, even though it's not a real company, we know
Mm-hmm.
this is some a kind of a company like Samsung or Nokia, because it was somewhere in
Mm-hmm.
1990s they started producing phones, and so it may be one of those companies.
Right.
Right? So it's good once you know the pre-sale to read something about the real companies to get an idea what the problems, what they face and all that. So this is what I do with y'all. Once I know the
Mm-hmm.
company, I will try to uh, think of a company. It's not 100% Samsung, 100% Nokia, but we can just go into those companies and find out, what are the problems they are facing. Now, for example,
Mm-hmm.
right at this moment, Samsung is facing big problems with a particular model of phones. The battery is so bad, it is exploding, and all the airlines, international airlines, have prohibited
Mm-hmm.
for them to carry those phone, the passengers to carry that phone or the tab.
Okay.
And
Right.
they have recalled the product all over the world, uh, uh, costing them trillions of dollars.
Right.
Now these are the real scenarios that can happen. So we can get some idea. So that's a possibility that can be in the unseen. Mm. For example, they
Okay.
might say that, our product has gone to the market and, one customer while using the phone, it has got overheated and that, he has got injured or fatal injury, and therefore we have to, what shall we do, recall the products or what, wait till the people ask or whatever, that kind of a questions can come.
Okay.
So you have to look at the age of the company. You have to look at
Mm-hmm.
when they started and what are their main products now. So now is making nothing but mobile phones.
Okay.
So earlier they started radios, etc., etc. Now nothing but mobile phone. So in a way, it has an advantage. In a way, it has a disadvantage, right?
Okay.
We are restricted to one range of products.
Okay.
Right? So the
Right.
advantage is you can get specialized and focused. But on the other hand, if some reason or the other the product is something is happening, some new thing comes up and the phone gets out of the market, you will be in real trouble.
Okay.
Right? So this is where you remember something called Ansoff matrix. Can you remember
Yeah,
Ansoff
exhaust
matrix?
metric. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
That is that. First thing, how you go is you go with the existing products to the existing markets.
Existing market. Yeah.
Then
Right.
existing product, new markets.
New market. Yeah.
Then
Then new
existing,
product.
yeah,
Existing.
new product, existing markets. Then new products, new markets.
New market. Yeah.
So these are the four stages of growth a company can go on.
Right.
Okay? Four stages. And I was talking about
Mm-hmm.
the balance scorecard. I forgot that the first one we were talking about was the customer. Second one was all about the internal business perspective, internal business processes. Third one
Mm-hmm.
is all about learning and innovation.
Okay.
Learning and innovation. We must continuously innovate new products. We must
Okay.
continuously train our staff and help them to
Mm-hmm.
learn. 30
Okay.
years back, we did not have something called human resources. We had only personnel and administration departments in all over.
Mm-hmm.
And their main purpose
Right.
was to give the letters of appointment, letters of dismissal, letters of warning, that kind of a thing. But later on, the something called human resources came. The worker was considered a resource. Earlier, it was considered as an expenditure to be
Mm-hmm.
paid the salary, get work, that's all. Nothing beyond that one. But today we treat
Right.
our employees as a resource. We train them, we give them all sorts of things, and it's an investment we make on the younger people so that we can, most of the companies, they go to the universities and select the
Mm-hmm.
best students and even sponsor those students, and they groom the students from the secondary school in time to the
Mm-hmm.
university to get them back
Mm-hmm.
to the company. So
Right.
we know human resource has become a very, very valuable resource to any organization. So
Okay.
that is the third aspect of the balanced scorecard. First one customer, second one internal business, third one is what we call learning and innovation.
Innovation.
Train our staff, do lot of research and development. So that is why we have a
Right.
research and development standard, IS 38 accounting standard, how to treat with research and development, because research and development is a very important area. Innovation, right?
Right.
Phone industry, now I think they are starting the 5G and all that, because the phone industry is developing to a great extent. I don't know whether you can remember in 1980s, the first phone, the mobile phone was that big phone. It was called brick phone, a big
Right.
size phone. You can only answer the calls and you can take calls. That's all, right? But that was a
Right.
big amount, prestigious phone to carry and keep it on a restaurant or someplace. When you keep it on the center of the table, everyone knows that that party is some big party. But
Right.
today, if you carry that kind of a phone, people will think you are good for the asylum. Because today we want the phone, the slim kind of a phone, which we can carry, but which does so much of work for us. We
Yeah.
we do banking, we do photography, we do video, we do everything with the phone.
Right.
In another 10 years time, I don't know, even the exam we may do it on the phone.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, with the way, the way the things are developed, they may not go to exam center, we might do the exam on the phone.
On the phone, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the kind of a development that is coming up. I saw in this particular case study, they are developing the 5G model. They say when you are coming on the vehicle, with the phone thing, you can check your refrigerator, what is in the refrigerator, and you can order the goods from the supermarket, and whilst coming, you can just collect the goods from the supermarket and come back. That's a
Right.
that's what the phone is going to do for you in next couple of years time, right? So always people we have to go and research, develop, and innovate new things. Look at SIMA,
Right.
what they have done. Earlier they were doing all 3-hour writing papers, exams, but now everything is computer based.
Okay. Yeah.
It has its advantages, it has its disadvantages. Yesterday, one of my students who was sitting for this paper in Dubai, he went for the examination center, but the technology has, all those good things with the technology, bad things, because there is no human intervention. His name was not there in the list. And finally,
Oh.
poor boy could not sit for the exam. He has to wait till February to sit for the exam after preparing all that, you know, utter frustration, because there was
Right.
no one in the examination center or something like that, because, all these things are outsourced and done in a different way. No one takes responsibility. So when he went, no name, no number, and he has to turn back and come back. I suppose if it was the normal old traditional exam, they could have somehow accommodated him, spoken to the London UK office or whatever, and done the
Right.
accommodation. So,
Right.
so these are the problems that we are facing with the technology, all that. Anyway, having said that one, we have to live with it. So the first three balance scorecard items were customer, internal business processes, and the
Learning
learning
and
and innovation. And one of your SIMA, the fourth one is financial. So we are not forgotten the financials, but what we say is don't only exclusively look at financials. If you are going to look at the success of a company, look at customer satisfaction, look at new innovations, the new internal processes, look at learning and innovation, and look at finance. All four
right.
together. That is what we call a balanced scorecard. So in
Right.
some about 4 years, 5 years back, your examiner wrote a nice article. She said the first three are all non-financials: customer satisfaction, internal businesses, and learning and innovation, all non-financials. They don't appear in the dollars or sterling pounds, but there are some numbers. Financials
Right.
are your profit, profit before tax, profit after tax, return on capital employed, all based on financial statement. So what she said was, if you focus on the first three, the non-financials, the success of financial will just come, which is true.
Okay.
If you satisfy your customers very well,
Mm-hmm.
if your staff is very happy with the training that you provide, if your
Mm-hmm.
products are continuously upgraded,
Mm-hmm.
your business will flourish and the financial
Right.
results will automatically come.
Okay.
On the other hand, if you try to focus on financials continuously, cut down on staff training, cut down on quality inspection, cut down on, recruiting qualified people, etc., etc., what will happen
Mm-hmm.
is the quality of the customer service will come down, the quality of the product will come down, the employee dissatisfaction will be over and above, and finally, no success.
Right.
So this is why we believe the balanced scorecard is the right way. So in P2, in management case study, there will be lot of questions on this area.
Okay. Balance scorecard.
Balanced scorecard, because
Okay.
that's the area that they have been tested almost in every Excel. So good for you to take your P2 pass cards and start
Mm-hmm.
reading about the balanced scorecard.
Okay.
Look at the E2, look at the Ansoff matrix. Look at the
Right.
SWOT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and traits.
And threats. Yeah.
I'm going to send you a little bit of a note on some of the technical models which I have picked up, which I have done some work. I'll send you that one. That may be helpful to you, but you also can develop, move on as the time goes on.
Sure. Sure.
Portafone is a global manufacturer. Now, what do you mean by global manufacturer? That means they manufacture to the world. So it's an international
Right.
product.
Mm-hmm.
Its product can be purchased in most countries. That means they are selling internationally.
Right.
When we are selling internationally, we do expect something to happen. That is the currency fluctuations.
Yes.
If you are doing all the business in UK, you don't have problem because sterling is the currency, you can do it. But if you are going to produce something in UK and sell it to States, or if you are going to sell it to Japan, or if you are going to sell it to some other country, the other country's politics can have an impact upon your company.
Right.
Yesterday I was giving tuition to one of the Malaysian students, and that
Mm-hmm.
student told me a lot of people have invested a lot of money in USA, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Malaysian people. But after the new president-elect's scenario, they never expected him to be the president. They expected the lady to be the president, and
Mm-hmm.
because of that, there's so much of uncertainty, and therefore their stock prices are falling very heavily in the last couple of days, and
Right.
some have lost millions of dollars in just overnight through this new president-elect's election. So
Right.
these are the political risks we have when we are a
Mm-hmm.
global company.
Company. Yes.
When you are a global company, you can have the political risk, you can have the economic risk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And finally, it's a quoted company in the stock exchange.
Okay.
It's a quoted
Right.
company. That means it's a listed company.
Listed
That
company on
means,
us.
that means it's a company regulated by the stock exchange.
Right.
Now, there are three types of companies you would have come across. One is what we call private companies. Private
Right.
companies means they are really private, like family companies, all that. You can't
Mm-hmm.
transfer your shares, sell your shares to outsiders without
Right.
the approval of the board of directors.
Right.
Then you have public companies. Public
Mm-hmm.
companies, you can sell shares to anyone and
Right.
everyone without the director's permission, but you can't sell the shares to the stock exchange because
Yep.
they are public company, but they are unlisted.
Right.
Next one is the when the listed company. Listed companies mean that shares are transacted through the stock exchange. Now in UK,
Right.
there are two stock exchanges, the London Stock Exchange and Alternative Investment Market, what we call AIMS. The big companies
Yeah.
are listed in the London Stock Exchange, small companies are
Mm-hmm.
listed in the AIMS.
Right.
So you can buy shares, I can buy shares, anyone can buy shares because they are in the stock market. So that means, and because of that, they have a market price. Every day
Right.
you will have a share market price. But if it's a private company or a public unlisted company, no market
Mm-hmm.
price.
Right.
No market price because there is no market. When there is no market, no market price. So you have to negotiate a price. But listed companies, you don't need to negotiate. If I have to buy shares, I just have to tell my stockbroker, I want to buy so many shares. If you want to sell your shares, you will tell your stockbroker, I want to sell my shares. That's it.
Right.
Right? So that's what, by reading this thing, now what we understand here is it's a listed company. Listed company means we have the facility to raise money through the stock exchange.
Right.
We can issue new shares and raise money. We can go and issue bonds to the market and raise money.
Right.
But if it is unlisted, we can't.
Yes. Okay.
Right? So now, for example, they might ask, hey, Veena, we want to raise money. Now, in this company,
Right.
we can say, yes, we can go to the stock exchange and raise money.
Okay.
But if
Yeah.
you look at the strategic case study this time, it's all about a family company. Family
Okay.
company. Just only 5 directors, they are holding 90% of the shares, and it's a family company. Now, for that company, if you were looking, if you go and recommend saying that go to the stock exchange and raise money, that is crazy. That is
Yeah.
totally insensible advice you are giving to the board of directors.
Right.
So, you have to understand. So, this is why the pre-scene is very important, Veena. So, what I'm going to do
Yeah.
is, we will go through this pre-scene another one more session, right? We
Mm-hmm.
will look at the numbers and all that kind of thing.
Right.
Different areas we will look at. And then after that, we will look at a mock, how to answer different scenarios that we are coming across.
Okay.
Any questions you have?
Right. I have
Yeah,
questions.
yeah,
Basically, what I do is I am right now trying to revise all the concepts that I've learned,
okay,
but I don't understand how do I put that into implications. Like if you talk about balanced scorecard or
okay.
if you talk about Ansoff matrix,
Mhm.
how does it relate to the real world? I just don't know. I mean, how do I
Mhm.
do it?
Yeah, basically what you have to look at is, okay, if you look at from the real world's point of view, today, whenever we are setting some performance indicators for anyone, for example, at the top level, we try to
Hmm.
set up with a balanced scorecard approach.
Right.
We don't ask our sales rep or the sales manager only the sales target. We try to put up a target about him, about the number of satisfied customers, number of repeat customers, for example,
Right.
right?
Right.
And about the number of people trained, right,
Right.
under him. So we give managers some key performance indicators like that. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at any model for that, now one of the models is the Mendelos matrix, right?
Right.
The high power, high interest, high power, low interest, low
Low
power, high
interest, low
interest, or
power, high
right?
interest, low power, low
So,
interest. Yeah.
so in the exam, we don't need to go and explain the whole nice box and all that. We are not going to drop a box and do it. We must say, for example, in this particular case, we will say the directors are high power, high interest people,
Right.
and we have to keep them satisfied.
Okay.
So like that, we will say as per Mendel's matrix, the directors are high power, high interest, and we have to keep them
Mhm.
satisfied. Like
Okay.
that, we will apply all those models
Right.
into now. If you look at the Porter's five forces, you remember the Porter
Hmm.
talks about the customer power, the buyer power, suppliers power, etc. Now in this
Hmm.
company, later on in this company, you will see they are selling almost all their phones to the mobile operator. So you
Okay.
can see the mobile operators have the high power. Right?
Right.
So we will look at. Don't worry. You just try to refresh yourself with various
Mm-hmm.
models. I will
Right.
take you.
Okay.
I will take you after the maybe the second session. I will take you to different areas and
Mm-hmm.
and we will apply how to apply the value chain, how to apply the balance scorecard, how to apply the answer porters.
Right.
We will get different areas.
Okay. Fine. Fine. Okay.
Just
Fine.
start reading. Just try to
Mm-hmm.
refresh yourself, and we will do the balance part. So what I want is before we meet next, I want you to
Mm-hmm.
read this pre-scene. Now you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now since we read about 3 or 4 pages, you know what we are trying to gather. So
Right.
just imagine this is your pre-scene for the February. Now what you are
Mm-hmm.
trying to do is you are trying to gather almost everything before the exam. You don't want to go to the exam and see what is their market, where are they selling, how are they selling. No, before we
Mm-hmm.
go, we must try get everything.
Okay.
Right. So what I want
Okay.
is, but before we meet next time, you will
Mm-hmm.
take a piece of paper or a Word document and
Mm-hmm.
take the main things what you feel about the company by reading these things.
Okay.
Take it up, right? Then we will take it up from beyond that one. We will take it and see how we can work it through.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. Any other questions you have, Veena?
No, that's it. Because I was reading all the concepts and everything.
Yeah.
But then when you read, you don't know how would you, I mean,
Yeah.
how would you
Yes.
perform in the exams? How would you apply these knowledge
Yeah.
that knowledge to a company?
Yeah.
Because obviously you can't remember everything at
You
a time,
can't.
right?
You can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as
So,
you go on, you will pick it up. Don't worry.
right.
We will do
Right.
that part of the story together.
Okay. Okay. That's fine then. No problem. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
When can we have our next session?
Can we
Weekend?
have it on Saturdays? Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
Saturday,
Yeah. No
7 o'clock
problem.
or
Because
something?
yes. Yeah. Sure. Next Saturday is
Yeah.
26th. What time? Same time?
26, 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever suits you. I'm fine
Six,
with it.
6 o'clock is fine by me. Shall we make it 6 o'clock?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. So shall we make it Saturday 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So let's meet on Saturday. I will send you the
Okay.
recording also, and we will see
Right.
how we are going to progress it from there.
Right. Sure. Sure. Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Veena. Have a great
All right.
day.
Okay. You too.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.